for now. Now, here is a question for you. Should shisha cafes and bars be licensed specifically for allowing shisha smoking? This week, Westminster Council hosted a meeting with several other London councils to discuss lobbying the government on the licensing of shisha bars, which they say in some instances are breaking the law. Paul Hawkins has been finding out more.
Smoking flavoured tobacco through water.
It's just like a different environment. Like everyone has their own thing, like going out, drinking, clubbing. And for us, we just come here, eat, smoke, relax.
What about the dangers to your health?
Well, it is, but compared to drinking and taking drugs, it's not as harmful.
Providing food, drink or entertainment needs a licence, but shisha smoking doesn't. Effectively, that means it's unregulated. So when a shisha cafe or bar breaks the law, councils say that their powers are limited. For example, a £2,500 fine isn't enough, and prosecutions, they say, take too long. And that's why they want the government to give them licensing powers. If this place were to be licensed, how would that affect you?
It would not affect us in any aspect, because we do everything by the book. Places you see that attracts the wrong customers or wrong crowd, they're not willing to take the extra steps of getting things done by books.
So would a licence help with that?
Possibly, yeah. I wouldn't say no, but people will find a ways around it.
There are at least 391 shisha cafes in London, way more than branches of McDonald's, and a huge 344% increase since 2007. In the 10 years to 2017, 63% of prosecutions for breaking smoke-free laws were against shisha cafes. Back in 2016, Brent Council and the police shut down 6 cafes over a 12-week period for things like antisocial behaviour and violence. This is one of the cafes that's still closed, albeit temporarily, and that is one of the council's points, that they can't close any of the cafes permanently, and even to get the temporary closure notices, it's time-consuming and costly to the taxpayer. Licensing, they say, would give them quicker, more effective powers and put the cost on the shisha cafe owner.
We have a long history around here of shisha bars which, you know, are non-compliant with the law. We've got a lot of serious violence that goes on at them. You've sometimes got issues like prostitution taking place at shisha bars. I would argue that there's a good case to treat them maybe like pubs or gambling establishments or even food places. We're only really able to close them down for a couple of months is the first big problem. And the second big problem, there's a moral question here, which is this. All of the activity that we've undertaken against shisha bars that don't comply, that's been funded by council taxpayers, and we have to ask really whether businesses should be funding this activity by paying licence fees.
So what's your message to shisha cafe owners who say licensing is just not for us?
The majority of shisha cafe owners are law-abiding people, but if you're not complying with the law, we will shut you down, and we will call on government to get the appropriate powers to make sure that that lasts.
But the government say
the police and local councils have an extensive range of powers available to deal with nuisance premises, including closure powers. Both can issue a closure notice for up to 48 hours and also apply to the court for a closure order, which could be up to 6 months. It is for the local authority to use their powers to review the licences of any premises associated with a breach of their licence or safety regulations.
the government, it seems, isn't budging.